All right, hello wine drinking people. Today is Friday, the 14th of November, our big Symphony of the Americas event going on tonight with our host, Dariush Khalidi, and 75 different wines, winding up another great season of winemaker dinner series here in tastings, once-in-a-lifetime tastings at the Wine Watch. We got a few left for you, though, if you guys are still thirsty. The last couple of weeks before Thanksgiving, we wind things down, and we always do a port tasting because, you know, we sell about 80% of our ports during the holiday season, so I thought it fitting. And there's not a lot of people that come to this event. It's always a small event, but like I said, we like to cover all the bases here at the Wine Watch, and vintage port is one of my favorite things. And one of the things I love about vintage port is that it lasts seemingly forever. We've got wines going back to the 50s in this tasting, including some legendary vintages like 1960. We got a flight of 60s, we got some 77s, an incredible array of vintage port. And port is fortified wine. It's made in Portugal, and there's a little town called Vila Nova de Gaia, just south of Oporto, where all the port houses are in the Douro River Valley, a very famous wine-growing region. They bring the ships, they bring the wine all the way to the Vila Nova de Gaia, and they make the wines there. And this is a really unique style of wine because most people still crush their grapes with their feet. You don't see that in too many places in the world. They call it piage, and they feel like there is just something about the foot-trodden method of crushing grapes that makes port unique, and very expensive to do that. And it's like a big party every year when you when they make port. They get all these people together stomping their feet on the grapes, and then after they make the base wine, they fortify the wine with wine spirits. And as of 2003, they were allowed to buy spirits from outside of Portugal, which some people say this has increased the quality level because you can get a better spirit now, supposedly, as opposed to just buying it from the Portuguese government, which is what they had to do before. But anyways, this is a style of wine that was created during the 100 Years' War when England was at war with France, and they decided, well, the French people weren't giving any manner of wine. We needed some place to get some hooch because, we got nothing to drink. They sailed around, they found a Porto, and unfortunately, when they sailed back with the wines, they didn't appear to be so good when they got back. So they figured out by adding a little alcohol to the wine, it would help to preserve them. One of the reasons why port lasts so long. And vintage port is unique because, it's all from one vintage. Most of the port you see on the marketplace is a ruby port, which is non-vintage. It's a blend of several different vintages. And vintage is declared 2 years after the vintage. Usually there's only 2 or 3 vintages in a decade that are declared. They keep them in these large 100-gallon pipes, and after 2 years they taste it. They decide if they're going to declare a vintage, and then they bottle it. So it's only kept in cask for 2 years and then bottled. So it usually needs a little bottle time. Usually I like to say 15 or 20 years is when I like to drink my port. But like I said, they will last 30, 40, 50 years or more. What a wonderful elixir. We also have a colheita at this tasting, which that is a vintage tawny port. And these are some of my favorite types of port. They're kept in wood their whole life. That's what tawny port means, and refers to the color. That's what happens to wine that's kept in wood for a long time. It gets this lovely amber color, and the single vintage tawnies are the rarest of all the ports. So we've got one of those in this tasting. And like I said, an incredible array of stuff. And a lot of people think of dessert with port, but I love a nice charred steak, which is what we're going to be serving with this, and of course some sweets to finish out the night. And Tony always does a great job with the food. This wine tasting is $250. They seem a little expensive to some people, but this is a once-in-a-lifetime tasting. Several of the wines on the table will cost more than that if you went out to find them in the open market. Some of these old bottles from vintages like 55 and 60, very hard to come by today. So this is one of our once-in-a-lifetime events. If you love port, I don't know why you would miss this. And hey, for all you people that love port and can't make it, I'm going to include all the ports that we have in the store on this offering for you, our wine drinking people. So check it out. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasone, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.